Good morning, Vande Matram. Welcome all of you. So this morning we are going to discuss a great topic that is on occult knowledge and yoga. So that is the topic of discussion for now. We are discussing right now. So in other words, we can have the discussion on this topic. Of course, it is an interesting topic, and this is the topic sometimes we query about. We want to know what is the real thing, what is the place of occult knowledge in yoga. That is the topic of discussion right now. Many times, in many ways, people keep asking the question because people who are pursuing the yogic path exclusively, who are in the path of the integral yoga, they are having some doubts and confusions over the occult knowledge in the place of occult knowledge in the yoga. So this is the topic of discussion, and we must try to read from Sri Aurobindo, occult knowledge and yoga. That is a great topic right now for us, and we'll try to solve it in a very amicable manner. So already we have discussed and we know about the occult knowledge. Sri Aurobindo quotes the occult knowledge is there are some hidden forces of nature, and the knowledge of these hidden forces and this right use of these hidden forces of nature, that is known as occultism. Many ways we don't know what really is there, but thing is that this one we have to the fact of the material world to which our instruments are accorded does not disprove the existence of the less material worlds which certain subtle instruments can show to us. Many things, many ways we know subtle worlds are there, many worlds are there. Of course, we have discussed the subtle worlds and mother's experience and mother's explanation on these subtle worlds we have seen. And of course, we have seen some occult forces in the Sri Aurobindo's writings, Sri Aurobindo's comments. We have seen occult forces, the forces that can only be known by going behind the veil of apparent phenomenon, going behind the veil of apparent phenomenon. There are some forces, especially the forces of the subtle physical and the supra-physical planes. These are the occult forces. Of course, we can be able to go to that level in the yogic level, and we can be able to know. Here in the again course, nature forces are conscious forces. Nature forces are conscious forces, and they can very well combine all that is necessary for an action or the purpose. And when one means fails, takes another. Anyway, this is the topic of discussion we are going to right now to have the discussion, that is on place of occult knowledge in the in yoga. So Sri Aurobindo tries to explain how this occult knowledge can be utilized and what is the its a role in the what is the place and a role in the yoga. That is what Sri Aurobindo explains, and in brief we are going to have a touch, just as we will have a touch right now. Sri Aurobindo in the very initial phase, initial line quotes, to know and use the subtle forces, to know and use the subtle forces of the supra-physical plane, that is the part of the yoga. In subtle world or in supra-physical world, there are some forces. These are known rather than subtle forces. And about these forces, these are subtle and existing in the supra-physical planes. To know them and to use them, that is what it has got its own importance and place in the process of yoga. Again, we'll go. You take a very utilitarian view of the spiritual things. Question here in the course, it has got its utility, and the view is viewed with respect to the utilitarian view of the spiritual things. Sri Aurobindo tries to quote what really is that. Whatever develops in the sadhana, whatever develops in the sadhana, proved is it is its genuine. So whatever develops in sadhana, provided it is genuine, not genuine, has its place, has its true place in the total experience and knowledge. Genuine things, what is happening in the yoga, many things happen purely. And if these are the authentic and genuine, it has got its place, and Sri Aurobindo explains, has its place in the total knowledge and experience. We gain every day the experience and the knowledge. A knowledge, here in the course, what is that knowledge? Knowledge of the occult worlds and occult forces and phenomena. Three things here in the price to quote. One, a knowledge of the occult worlds. Second, knowledge of the occult forces and the phenomena. Has its place also. They have got this place in yoga. It has got its value. It has got its place. It has got its role there. And against Aurobindo quotes, visions and voices are only small part of the vast realm of occult experience. After the knowledge, Aurobindo comes to the experience. When I mean, initially we have quoted a lot of things on visions and your voices. Many ways we have discussed, and of course, couple of episodes we have seen on visions and voices, spiritual visions and spiritual voices. And on that Aurobindo tries to quote, visions and voices are only small part of the vast realm of the occult experience. Occult experience, it has got the vast realm. So these voices and visions, they carry the small part. As for the utility, for one who has intelligence and discrimination and vision, Sri Aurobindo quotes one who has got intelligence, second, discrimination, he can discriminate, and the third, vision, etc., have many uses, but very little use of those who have no discrimination and or understanding. So, for these uses, it really needs a lot of discrimination and understanding, and so that he can use it. If there is no discrimination, no vision, no understanding, then it is of very little use. Against Aurobindo quotes, because a great number of people don't know how to use these occult forces most of the time. It has, but people, these occult forces, their experiences, their field, their utility, it is known to, as per Sri Aurobindo, of course we know, it is known to a very few, counted few. And the problem is that most of the people, their number is a great number. Maybe I don't know how much, what will be the big percentage. They don't know how to use these forces, occult forces, and of course when they they misuse them, even give them excessive value or nourish their ego by them. They become they use to nourish their ego, or they give the excessive value. Sometimes they misuse them, and of course they don't know how to use it. That is the problem with a great number of people, but a few know, few utilize, few take go in the perfect way. That is what's here in the quotes, and this is the truth. Does it follow that the faculties themselves have to yogic use of the value? Again, even by itself, the thing that what Sri Aurobindo really quotes tries to explain, if it can be used in a very authentic way, very proper way, then it has got its value. But most of the things, using it properly in a true manner, it is known to a very counted few. Their number is less, but actually most of the people, they don't have the idea. Even if they get, they misuse it, get misled, and of course get try to fulfill the ego. Against your in the course, even if the development of the occult faculties, even if by itself, with the development of occult faculties is a progress in the development of the consciousness through, though it may not carry with it the spiritualization of nature. Thing is that very interesting thing. Development of the occult faculties. With the development of occult faculties, it is a progress in the development of consciousness. Progress in a development of consciousness. This development of consciousness is progressed, is actually added. It is gets its vision with the development of occult faculties, though it may not carry with it the spiritualization of nature. It has got its value, it pushes forward, it actually elevates, but thing is that spiritualization of nature is not, can be done, not can't be carried with this development of occult process. But thing is that it is helpful. Against Europe in the course, very interesting touching line. Here in the course about the practical sadhana, tries to explain about the practical sadhana. If one develops the occult faculties with this occult process and occult faculty, practical sadhana, if one develops the occult faculty and occult experience and knowledge, if one develops occult faculty and occult experience and knowledge, these things can be a great use. occult faculty, occult experience, occult knowledge, it can have a great use. Therefore, practical. Therefore, be practical. It must be used in a particular, in a very practical way. In themselves, they carry a proof of opening to the inner consciousness. With this leading, with this guidance, they get a proof of opening into the opening of the inner consciousness, so-called inner consciousness, and also help to open it further. Though there is not indispensable for that, that is what the result, but actually it is helpful, it has got its use. Again, the thing is that coming whether Sri Aurobindo approves the use of occult faculties or disapproves. It has got its value, it has got its help. If it can be used by the proper manner, it is helpful. Sri Aurobindo quotes in different ways. There is no doubt of it. But actually, thing is that is it approved fully by Sri Aurobindo or any other great sadhakas, so-called Raman Morsi and all. So for that, we'll try to count how Sri Aurobindo quotes and writes, of course, explains what is the how it can be utilized and it has got its value. Sri Aurobindo has quoted, but actually he does not disapprove, discourage. He actually truly discourages. He don't approve. He does not approve only. The Sri Aurobindo quotes. Ramana Maharshi discouraged his disciples from hearing from having any occult dealings. Totally, Ramana Maharshi of Tiruvannamalai, in Tamil Nadu, discouraged his disciples from hearing any occult dealings. With his aim was to realization of the inner self and the intuition. The true objective of Raman Maharshi was for the realization of the inner self and the intuition. So he disapproved the use of occult faculties only for the place of this ordinary feelings and experience of visions. He had the very interesting advice to go deep within. In other words, the fullness of the spiritual mind, that was the objective, that was the process of, that was the object of his Raman Maharshi's sadhana. So visions and voices belong to the inner occult sense, therefore he did not want them to stress on it. Inner occult sense, it contains the visions and voices with that nothing sufficient can come. His purpose was to to gain the fullness of the spiritual mind, to go for the realization of the inner self and intuition. So he disapproved and discouraged. Again, what about Sri Aurobindo? After quoting a lot of things Sri Aurobindo tries to quote, I also discourage some from having any dealing with the visions and voices. Same thing. I also discourage some from having any dealing with the visions and voices, because I see that they are being misled and the danger of being misled in a false vision and the false voices. Very often there is a chance to get misled by the false visions and false voices. That is the cause of concern. So it does not mean that visions and voices have no value. It has got its value. Occultism has got its value. It has got its help. But the thing is that there is a chance, a big chance of getting misled, a big chance of getting confused. So people have the occult faculty always to tend to give a large place in it. They get egocentric, they get misled, they misuse. So many things are happen. But anyway, in the yogic faculty, it has got its value and it has got its vision. Against here in the quotes, when one cannot only receive a force, but an impulse, thought, or sensation. Along with the force, he receives impulse, thought, and a second sensation. One may receive it from others, from beings of nature, or from nature herself. If she chooses to give her force a ready-made form of that kind, so that can be received. It can be received from nature. There is no doubt of it. But thing is that it must be worked out in the positive manner. There is one occult force working in all, and the vibration of the force or any of the movement can awake. It does not, of course, always does not always the same sensation in the other. The play of the forces can lead to nothing if the one force does not take them off and changes them. So the process, the objective of that process to get it to elevate somebody, to expand his consciousness, to take him to the upper knowledge. But thing is that we must be conscious, we must not be misled, we must not misuse. That is what the problem. But anyway, Sri Aurobindo disapproves these dealings, because sometimes you may get confused with the false vision and of course false experience when we are gaining false voices and false visions. Thank you. Bande Mataram.